Getting an NHS job as an immigrant can be challenging, especially if you don't even know where to start. But today, you'll be hearing firsthand experiences from some amazing people who have successfully made the transition. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I am Evelyn and I'm so grateful that you clicked to watch this video. Now, finding an NHS job has been a common concern among immigrants, and I've had so many questions regarding the whole process and every other thing. So I planned to do something special. I went out in search of one person who is willing to share their journey with us. But guess what? I found 4 incredible people who are willing to share their experience with us today. I'm confident you'll gain a lot of insights and valuable tips from their stories. So make sure you watch to the end, okay? And if you haven't already, don't forget to hit the subscription button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on more helpful content. So all of the people I'll be speaking with in this series are all healthcare support workers, but their experiences would be valuable to anyone who is looking to get into the NHS, irrespective of the role. So without wasting any time, we'll be hearing first from 3 amazing people who will be joining us via Zoom to share their journeys, to share their challenges, and the best advice for anyone who is looking to follow their footsteps. So let's go. So today I'm here with...
Hello, my name is Lovett.
Hi, my name is Ruki.
Hi, my name is Boma.
Thank you guys so much for coming on today. We'll just go straight into the questions and then we'll keep it going from there. So I'm aware that some roles require experience. So I would love to find out if you had any prior experience before getting the job or you were trained on the job.
So thank you for having me. I would say when I came into the UK, I had no experience whatsoever about the NHS job or anything. But what I would say is when I came in, I have this determination that I want to work with the NHS. So I started working towards that. I started making researches. I asked people questions, people that work with the NHS. I asked them so many questions that is related to the job, what they do, and how it is being done. I asked them for the requirements they need in applying. And then I also went on YouTube to do more research, even though I don't know anything about it. But while doing the research and seeing things that I don't even know before, so it helped me to build myself and to prepare myself for the role I was going to apply for. And then I did some training online just to build myself when the role I'm applying for comes to me. So I had no experience whatsoever, but I trained myself. So what I would say is people should just be determined and do more research on the job before they apply. Do some training, lay their hands on trainings they can do. Like there are so many trainings online that you can do even before you apply for the job, so that when you're applying for the job, you can table it to your personal statement, or you can just tender it, oh, I've got this certificate and I've got this and that. So it will really go a long way for people when applying for jobs. But I had no experience.
Okay, but do you mind sharing some of the trainings you did before you got the job?
So there was this training, the moving and handling training was online that I did, though there was no practical for it, but I did the online training. That helped me a lot. Like, so when I got the job, it was more easier. Okay, I've seen this before, I've seen that before. And then I did what's this training again? There's this called BLS, Basic Life Support.
Yeah,
I did that as well. Sorry, I also did this. What's this training? This one for
SVQ.
Oh my God. No, I didn't even do the SVQ. I just did the training that is related to care. There's this training we do for CPR.
I think that's the basic
If
life
anybody can
support.
help me. Yeah.
Basic.
So I can't really put in all the trainings I did, but those are some of the trainings I did, and it actually helped me with the job when I was applying.
Right. So what was like the hardest part of the application process?
So when I started, as I said earlier, that I had no idea of what I was even going into. It was really hard for me because when I opened their site, I saw personal statements. I saw a lot of essays to write, and that scared me at a point because I don't even have a clue of what I'm going to put in. So I started calling on people and all of that. I did research. And then because of the training I said earlier that I've gone through, so it kind of make me understand some part of the questions. So
Right.
number one thing I'll say is one of the hardest part of the job application is a personal statement, because I'll say that's the biggest part of the job application, because that's where you have to sell yourself, whatever training you have, whatever skills you have, whatever job you've done before you came into the UK, you have to put everything in there. A personal statement is not the kind of statement that you just put, oh, my hobby is this, my hobby is that, my name is this. There's nothing
Yeah.
like that. But when I did my first application, honestly, I won't lie to you, it was flopped. I did like 3 to 4 applications for the first time, and it was just a no-go area. So the skills matters a lot. Put in your skills, probably explain all your skills, not that you just listing out, okay, explain your competencies, let them know you are compassionate about the job you're applying for, let them know you have empathy for the job you're applying for, let them know that you care for patients, and in all of that, include all the NHS values. These things matters to them a lot, because these are the things they look out for in your application. You don't just write for them. The NHS value is one of the things they look out for, because it is very important to them. Like
Yeah.
it's a big thing. Also put in your good teamwork, tell them what you've done, give them demonstrations of what you've done before by using the STAR method. I use the STAR method, which is the situation, the task, the action, and the result.
Result, yeah.
Help them. This goes a lot, because it is proving to them that this person actually knows what they are doing. They know what they are applying for. They know what they are coming to do.
Yeah.
So the personal statement is one of the hardest parts. And once that is done in the right manner, honestly, you are good to go with the application. Number two, I've mentioned the NHS
The
values.
values, yeah.
Another hardest part people don't really notice, I think I'll say the job specification, because a lot of people, myself is an example, because when I was applying for the first time, I just saw it, but I didn't know I was supposed to relate my personal statement to go in line with the job specification. So people should study this job specification thoroughly, because even during your interview, some question will still come from the job specification of which you were not even aware of what it was. So tailor your personal statement to the job specification. Sometimes this is where they ask about your skills as well, what they want you to bring to the job. If you have IT skills, you see it there. A lot of things, they table it in there, what you're going to do, what the job role is all about. Those are the things you're supposed to be aware of when applying and when writing your personal statement. And number three, I'm going to say competency-based interview. That is one of the hardest parts. The interview can be simple for some people. For now, right now, I can say, oh, interview is nothing. That's because I know, okay,
You want to, yeah,
I
you'll
know
be
the
there.
right from the wrong. But when I was applying, it was very difficult for me, because you see me going for interview, I'm panicking. I don't know. I just keep cramming. I didn't know I was supposed to understand what I have read, what I have researched about. So make sure you study the competency-based question, because they don't ask about what is this, what can you do? They only go in with scenario questions. Practice more and more. Do what you can do. Ask people questions. People that have done the job, that are in the job, ask them what is that. Let them tell you what scenario questions are. Don't just base your answers on what you think you know. They have guidelines to how they want applicants to answer their question. And that was why I said the STAR method. The situation is like, for example, let's say patients are the floor, and they go in and you saw the patient on the floor. That's the situation. The task, okay, you are in with the patient. What is the task? What are you going to do? And the action is what steps you are going to take. And then the result is, after you've done everything, what was the result? What did you learn from it? So that is the STAR method approach. Thank you. So people should prepare thoroughly for the interview, not just sit back and be like, "Oh, I know this question already, or I can cram the answers." No, it doesn't work that way. So
Right.
interview is also one of the best parts. For me, it was even really hard because I will not lie to you, because I first got a Bantu role when I started. Sorry, I didn't get it. I had an interview and I went. So I was on the bank with the NHS. So I got an invite for the Bantu role, which was permanent. So when I went for the interview, they don't even have to tell me that I flopped. They don't even have to say it to my face. Me myself know I did wrong. So when they called me back after the interview, the lady was like, "Oh, we are sorry you didn't go through with the interview, blah, blah." So I asked why. People should always ask why. When you don't get a role and they call you, okay, you didn't get the role. People should ask, why did I know? What went wrong? Because they are always available to tell you these were the mistakes you made, and this can help you to correct yourself when you're applying, when you're doing the next one. So the lady was like, when I asked her, she was like, you don't know your job role. That was the first thing she told me. In my head, I was like, I've been doing this Bantu bank role for 7 months. How come I don't know my job role? She said, you don't know your job role. Next time you need to study your job description properly. And when I was applying next, it helped me because I have to go back to my job specification and everything. And then I studied the job role. I know what I'm applying for. And one more thing I'll add is the application timing. There is a time frame for the application. Early submission matters a lot because sometimes probably they have like 500 people that apply for the job. Believe you me, if you are at the top of the submission and then you have points that really make sense, it might help you go through. So people should be conscious of timing when they're applying for any role in the NHS. It really matters a lot.
Right.
This is my point. I don't know if anyone has anything to add to it. Thank you.
Anyone?
I think you've done a really good job.
Yeah.
I mean, you've
I've
said
said a
nearly
lot.
everything I have to say. So you've done a really good job, Ruki.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she has said everything.
That's quite extensive, and I appreciate that because I think it has also covered some of the major mistakes that people would do that cost them the job. And I know how many times I've mentioned here about person specification, about using the STAR method, about just going through the job description and seeing what they need from you and make sure you're incorporating that into your personal statement, because that is what gets you shortlisted. If you don't get shortlisted, you can't even go through to the interview. So, Ruki, thank you very much. You did a very good job. Thank you. Yeah. And I'm also aware that the application, the whole process can be very, very lengthy. So I would love to hear how long it took before you got the job. How long did it take after applying before you got the job?
So, it's problem. Sorry.
Yes.
Right. So thank you so much for having me. When I applied, I know I had to send in so many applications, not one, not two, not three. This is not to discourage you anyways, but I think I sent in, if not up to 100 applications, right, before I could, because I could just sit down with my laptop and then I'll keep sending. I can send 10 a day and then go back the next day. I'll come back and send again. So I was getting series of unsuccessful, but that did not really deter me, did not really make me to take a step back, but rather I was like, okay, this is what I want and I need to do it. Like Rocky said, she said, it's all about determination. You really need to be determined. If this is what you want, you go for it. There's no way you put in effort and then you won't get what you're looking for. So I started, it took me about 6 months to actually get a job with them.
Right.
Yeah. But before then I was on the bank and I had to get the bank job. I think it's easier to get the bank job so that when you're already in the system, they feel like, oh, she knows what she's doing. Oh, she's already there. Yeah. So why don't we just give her the job? We're not going to go back from the beginning. Like I had all my LEMPRO trainings done. I had so many of those things done. So it's not going to be huge work for them to put me through in the system, if you get what I mean. Yeah. So I think that gave me an edge. So I was able to like get the job. It took me about 6 months. And then when I got the job, it took me about, is it 3 months or 2 months for me to like start the actual job because of the process of you just enrollment. Is that what I should call it? I don't know, but for me to like get started, it took me so long, too many requirements, bring this, bring that, and at some point it just kept mute, and I did not really know what happened then, but that was the time it took me. So that is it.
Wow. Is there anyone that have like a different timeline?
For me, actually, I was on and off. I wasn't very consistent when I was applying, and that is not even a very good thing. If you want something, just keep doing it. So because you might come back months later and everything has changed. So for me, I don't know like exactly how long, because like I said, I was on and off, but I did not really make like so many applications. I don't know the number. Might be about 20, about 15, about 30. I don't know, but I was on and off. But when I became serious, I was invited for an interview. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
just to add, so I got like 3 invites.
right.
No, four of them, yeah, for an interview after the series of application I made earlier. So I got like four of them, and I attended 2. One I missed because I was ill, and then the third one I attended. I eventually got the job, but 2 of them were unsuccessful, and they were
Right.
for band 2 roles. So which I did not really need at the moment because I really wanted a band 3. So those band 2 I attended, I did not get them. I missed one of them because I was ill, and then the last one I finally got. I think I did not attend one more interview because I'd already gotten the job, so there was no point attending. Yeah, that
I
was
know.
it.
There's a point you actually mentioned where you say you started with a Bantu role, and even Rookie herself. I also made a video here on jobs that don't require UK experience. Some people actually want to move from 0 to 100. They don't want to start from 0. For NHS, like Boma has said, if you start from even a domestic assistant or a healthcare Bantu support worker, you stand a better chance of getting a band 3 or other roles, right? Because they know they're not starting afresh, like she said. But so many people skip the process. But also, it doesn't mean that if you have a Bantu role, you shouldn't follow due process or following like the STAR method, Luki said. If you don't follow everything that is being said here, and you think, oh, because I'm in Bantu, I can just apply and they'll call me. No, they won't call you. Bantu gives you an edge, but at the same time, you still have to follow the whole process and do it right. I don't know if anyone else has anything to add to what Boma said. Any other experience? No. So
I'll say me and Boma, we kind of have a similar experience with the application process, the time it took, because I had like over 70 applications in a day. I can't count how many I send in a day. Once I see new applications are up, new job, new vacancy, I just apply. No matter the location, I just apply. And and yeah, from my own calculation, I think it took 16 months actually.
right.
16 months before we could secure a band 3 permanent role.
Wow. It's well, the journey it's been a story, it's been a lesson, and I'm glad we all like learn from it, and we're able to also let others know of what we have gone through and our experiences and all that. And another hard part of the whole thing is preparing for interview. So is there any like tips on how to prepare for interview, and what are the likely questions, the common ones that generally, how should they prepare for interview, and what are those things that we need to know to do well in the interview process?
Right. So Rookie said earlier that if you want to go for an interview, you really need to prepare. Of course, definitely. You just cannot stay back and not prepare and feel like, oh, it's just NHS and healthcare support worker, so I'll be fine. That doesn't work. So what I'm going to say is that, first of all, what I did, I went online. So I was doing my research, searching for NHS questions, right? So I just familiarized myself with most of those questions there. I made sure I could just, if I wake up anytime, any day, if you ask me any of the questions, if you throw anyone at me, I'm able to answer you confidently without thinking or doing MM. So I had to build my confidence up to that standard. Then make sure you look out for scenario questions, because they love scenario questions, right? For instance, I'm going to give you one example. So they can say, what if a nurse approaches you and say, can you give medication to my patient, please? So that question is you might think that it's just a no answer or yes answer, whatever your answer is, but that question is very technical. I'm going to explain why. Because they want to know if you know your job description. If they want to know if you know the policies and standards, that the guidelines, okay, of the NHS. Those are the
Yeah.
things they're looking at for. It's just a simple question. Please, can you give medication to the patient? But imagine what they're expecting from you. So if you get to understand all of those things, you will be able to answer those questions better. For instance, now I'm going to answer that question. So if they say, "What, please, can you give my patient's medication?" First of all, I know that as a healthcare support worker, I am not trained. So my answer is no, first of all, sorry. So then I'll say to them, this is because as healthcare support worker, I know I am not trained to administer medication. That is one. And I'm going to say to them that I will make sure that at every point in time, I work to standard and to standard by observing the guidelines and policies. Do you get? So if you say to them that way, do not, oh yeah, she knows what she's doing, because she knows what she's doing because she must have studied the guidelines, she must have studied the policy, she knows, right? But if you just say no, I won't, and you just leave it there, they can't give you what you're looking for. So you just have to go to that extra mile to give them reasons, to make them understand that yes, you know what you're doing and you've read your job description. And I'm sure in the adverts they will tell you what you're supposed to do, which is your job description. They might not mention, they will mention the things you're supposed to do. If administration of drug is not there, then you shouldn't do that. Right. And then even the guidelines have stated that if you're not trained to do a particular thing, not just drug administration, if you're not trained to do a particular thing, then don't even attempt to do it. Just politely say no. That's what you're going to do. So another thing I'm going to say is that get yourself acquainted with the core values, NHS core values, because at every point in time when you're answering the questions, you have to chip them in, at least to make them know that, yes, I've gone through this whole thing. I know so much about the NHS. I've studied a whole lot. I've done my research. That is what you have to sell yourself. I mean, if they give you a pen to say, okay, sell this pen to me, what do you do? You have to convince me it's the pen. Everybody knows this pen works and the pen is good for writing, isn't it? But you have to make them understand why this pen is outstanding. That's the same way you have to make yourself know that you are outstanding. Sorry, make them know that you are outstanding and you're different from the others, so that you can be picked or you can be taken for the role. So, and then I think I have one more, the last one. Yeah, the last one, I just want to chip this one in. When you're talking, just always mention the word dignity and respect. They love it. I have to be very honest. They love it. They just want to hear dignity, accord patients dignity and respect and all of that.
That's right.
Like, oh yeah, you're on top of the game. You see your interviewer nodding. All right, that's good. So that's what they do. These are just simple things. And then when you go into the interview hall, wherever, make sure you smile. Surely they're going to smile too because they smile a lot. Just keep smiling and then have a very good composure, right? And just don't try to fidget. Don't try to be shaky or like you're tensed or you're under so much pressure. You just try to relax. Take a deep breath. You just speak naturally with them. They are very friendly, and the same way you too, you shouldn't be tense. You won't. So at some point, you might not even feel like you're in an interview. I remember the first one I had, I was like this. Even the second one, I have to be very honest. The third one, I think, is the kind of question they asked. So it made me to have a flashback. I had a very terrible experience. So that question required me to say it. So when I remember the whole thing, and I had to narrate to them, even after telling them, they were like, oh, we're so sorry. So I was not very shaky because I recalled, do you get? But aside that, I think I was okay. Just be confident. That's all I have to say. And then do your research, study as much as you can. And then don't forget the core values, very important. Scenario questions. That is it. You're good to go.
Thank you very much.
Can I add something?
Yes, please.
Although it might sound a bit funny, but another thing is do not overdress, because some people just overdress, and then when you get there, you're looking like, I've had that experience. I got there and I saw somebody dressed in a complete suit, and you're coming for a healthcare role. They just feel like, they're on uniform. They're uniform. People that are going to be interviewing, they're going to put on a uniform, and you're coming with suit and you're coming with a bag. Oh yeah. So I think sometimes they just have this look like, oh, okay. So just in a comfortable, outfit. I think that's another thing too. They might not say, but I think they kind of just something that is fit for you. Yeah.
I understand what Lovett is saying. You can imagine the look on the interviewers, like, this one, is she our boss or what's going on here? And you make the whole environment too tense for you, for your own sake. not like you're going to dress too casual. Dress well, but don't be too serious. If you're too serious, you will go there and them too, they'll be serious. At the end of the day, you flop the interview. Boma has said it all. Go there, smile. If they give you a cup of water, don't say no, drink. They've handed me water severally and I would say no because I was tense. But then once you take that cup of water, take a sip, just talk with them normally. Ask them how they are doing. Like, make a soft landing for yourself by saying hello. Oh, how's your day been? Are you okay? Do you have plans for the week? Not too personal, nothing too, how will I call it? Nothing too
serious,
out of place. But try to be friendly. Don't be too serious. I know that nerves are there. Nerves will always be there, but have it under control and see. They are not there to do anything. They're very nice. Even when you're giving the wrong answer, they say, oh, yeah, you're doing well. So why should you be taking your nerves to interview? Yeah, so we'll continue.
I had one more thing, please.
Right.
And after the interview, applicants should always try and ask a question when they ask you, do you have anything for us? Do you have a question for us? Don't always just say, no, thank you, I don't have any. Try and ask them something so that they know, okay, this person is actually interested in knowing more about the job. Ask them more about the job. Ask them what you'll be doing when you get the job. Don't just say, oh, no, thank you, I don't have a question, and then you stand up. No, try to ask them some questions, either one or two. That will really help you also.
Yeah, that's true. Honestly, if you want, they want to judge who, even if both of you score the same mark, the person that asks a question at the end ends up getting the job because they feel like, oh, this person is actually very interested in this post, wants to know more and would do better. So that's quite right. Thank you, Ruki. Any other thing to add? No. So hearing all this, it might seem like, oh, NHS is one tough giant. Well, it is a giant, but is it really some people would want to know, are there benefits of working with the NHS? Because listening to this, and it seems quite tough to get into the NHS. But then when you finally get in, what are the benefits of working with the NHS?
Thank you so much for having me here. I'll say the NHS is actually a great place to be, a great place to work. Can you hear me? There's something happening. Okay. It's a great place to be, a great place to work. So for me, the biggest benefit is the professional training courses that I received. That has given me the opportunity to enhance my skills and knowledge. You know, for example, Ruki mentioned that she did some training before she got into the job, you know, like the moving and handling and all that. So the NHS has given me that opportunity to have that training, the moving and handling, both the theory and the practical part. And there are some other training as well that I've received. And then there are so many benefits. And then for me as well, flexible working. It gives you opportunity to have that time for both your family and also your work. Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. So any other benefit?
So sorry, can I quickly add?
Sure.
So if you're working with the NHS as compared to some other organizations, I would say, I think you have access to leave, parental leaves. As a mom, I'm a mom of two. I think I have about 4 weeks for each of them, for each child, so long as I'm able to prove that, yeah, they're my kids. So you have like 4 weeks for each that you're going to be paid for just in case your child is sick or anything happens to your child. Then you have, I think, additional 12 weeks. I'm not so certain, but I know it's just 12, 14 weeks unpaid. So you can be off, yeah, for each child. So all that, I think is you don't get them elsewhere. I don't think you do. And yeah,
Then let
that's
me
it.
add as well. So there are some people that are on the bank as a staff, the staff bank under the NHS. Some people are not aware that they can also go on leave and they can also apply for holiday, sick leave and all that. Because
Right.
me myself, there was a time I was not also aware about that. My daughter was sick and I had to start canceling most of my bank shift that I had, not knowing that I can actually ask for a sick leave, that, oh, my child is sick, or an holiday leave. And even when you apply for that, you are going to be paid according to the hours that you have left on your bank. So the thing is, as you work, you have opportunity to have those hours And then they'll tell you these the hours, you have 40 hours, you have 50 hours. And so it depends on how many days or how many hours you want to break it into to apply for your leave. So as a bank staff, you're also entitled to those leave as well. And then you get paid as well.
Please,
Right.
can I quickly add?
Sure.
So one of the biggest benefits I would say, I don't know how that escaped my mind, is career progression.
Yeah.
Right. So when
I
you're
was
in the
going to
NHS,
say,
you have the opportunity to grow. You have the opportunity. If you want to become a nurse, whatever you want to be, you have that opportunity. They are ready at every point in time to train you, to give you the necessary trainings, whatever it is. Whatever is going to cost them, so long as you're willing. You can, from a healthcare support worker, if you want to be a nurse, that is 100% possible, whatever you want to do. So they just want you to grow. That's what they want to see. So even if you start as a band 2, there's opportunity for you to grow to a band 3, and there's opportunity for you to grow to a band 4. I have a colleague that started with me as a band 3. He's a band 4 now, although I'm not so interested. If I was, I would have maybe made some movements to, like, done some necessary things that can take me to that point. But he's currently a band 4, and soon he's going to be a band 5. So you can keep growing. There's this career progression.
Yeah.
I don't get it elsewhere. I don't get it everywhere. I think that is one of the biggest benefits when it comes to working with NHS.
Right. After hearing all these benefits, I don't know if I should still ask the next question, because I was going to ask if you've ever regretted having this job at any point, or this has been the best decision you've ever made. Is it still okay to ask?
Yes, it's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So for me, the answer is no, I don't regret it, because working with the NHS, just as Mama have said, it helps you work towards your own career. It helps you improve life. That's quality of care that you're providing to people, helping them improve their life. And for me also, I'm also a recipient of care from the NHS as well. So I would say, yes, it's the best decision and I don't regret it. Because actually, what actually drew me into, NHS, building my confidence and everything, me wanting to work with the NHS, is I was a recipient of care from the NHS as well. When I came into the UK, I had a baby and I experienced the care. It was totally, totally different from what I've received, before back home. So that experience, that care I received and everything, and then I started making my research, and it was the best decision ever. Yeah.
Wow. I'm so glad to hear. Is there anything that people don't realize working for the NHS? Anything that stands out that people could benefit knowing, that maybe anything we've not mentioned here that you think that people don't know about working for the NHS?
Working for the NHS can be incredibly fulfilling and rewarding. What we said, the leave, the flexible work time, professional trainings that you receive is really rewarding. But it also comes with some, challenges as well.
Yeah.
And those challenges requires resilience and adaptability. So for example, you're working in a ward, there's a lot of workload, you work under pressure, and there are days where you go to work, you don't feel it, like, oh, today is so good. But there are days where you go to work and you need to put in your best. You need to work under pressure, attend to, for example, in a ward of 28 patients, having maybe, for example, 20 patients, then another day you're having 28 patients. They all really need attention. So you need to put in your best. You need to adapt in those kind of situations.
Yeah.
And also there are some challenges the NHS face, the time of the COVID-19 and all that. Those were a big challenges. A lot of healthcare professionals, they had to drop out from work due to their health and all that. But aside that, there are a lot of rewarding and fulfilling opportunities in the NHS.
Oh, yeah, it's actually good to know some of these things, because people might go in with the wrong impression, thinking that every day is the same. Nah, every day is not the same. It is healthcare. Yeah, absolutely. It is healthcare. So some days might be good, some days might. In fact, you can never have any 2 days exactly the same. So challenges come, but that's why you have to be flexible. You have to be up to the job you're doing. You have to have stamina and grace to be able to do this. Going into healthcare is not a joke. It's something that people should just, I don't know how to put it in the way how it is in my head, but just be as flexible as possible.
Yeah.
Be committed. Just use your 6 C's if you know it.
Yeah.
Use your 6 C's, and that is going to help you so much. Anything else that anyone want to add? No. So considering how difficult it is to actually get an NHS job, we've all said it here, how many times we've applied, how many interviews and all of that. What advice would you give to people that are either wanting to apply or those that are already in the process of applying?
For those that are wanting to apply, what I would say is you need to develop yourself personally. You need to, Ruki said she did some training. Even myself, when I came in, before even getting the job, I did some online training, got some certifications, because those things help you build yourself, make research about that particular role. And then another thing is there are some roles that you apply for, their person specification, they are quite different. You need to know all those things. And then for those that already apply, I would say, for example, you can go to the department or that particular NHS trust that you're applying to. You can go and study the environment, go and see what they do there, and get to know what your role is like. When you go there, they will show you around. They are so happy to do that. When you come and say, oh, I'm coming for an interview here, or I'm applying for a job here, I'll just love to see what you do here and get to know like my role as a healthcare support worker in this world. And they'll show you around, they'll tell you what to do. And that one can as well help you build your confidence and build your mind on what to expect. And another thing is when you go for an interview, if you read through the job description, you read through the person specification, it will help you prepare better. Because it asks you, like they said, is scenario-based questions, and it's also related to that job description. Myself, I applied, there was one of the job I applied for, I think it's for mental health dementia patients. So when I got there, the questions they asked me, 3 different questions, but they asked the same question in 3 different ways, about what will you do if one of your patients is talking to that patient, the patient is not responding to you, or what will you do and if a patient is coming to tell you that, oh, I need to go and see my child is waiting for me outside, a dementia patient, what will you do? So in everything they're trying to ask is that when your patient is communicating with you, knowing that that patient, just have that, how will I put it now? The patient is trying to tell you something, but of course they don't know what they are saying based on the fact the patient, you understand what they are going through. So they are trying to know how you are going to handle that kind of a situation, because those patients, they can be a bit violent. Some can be a bit, calm. Some can be a bit just forceful and all that. So in all of this, just make your research, get to know what you want to do. And another thing is you have to have how will I put it? That's caring nature in you.
Yeah.
You have that caring nature in you, because this kind of job, it comes with a lot of challenges, just like I said. Sometimes you feel like, why is this patient talking to me like this, or why is this person? But if you know why you are there, if you have nature in you, no matter what you do, some patient can be violent, some patient can be rude, some patient can be, very, I don't want to go into detail, but when you know what you are there for, when you know that, oh, this patient is just sick, I'm just here to take care of you, I'm just here to help you, have that caring nature in you.
Don't take it personal.
Don't take it personal, exactly. Just see it as something you do and you are committed to it. It's just what you love doing. So that's what I would say. Just be yourself and, of course, love your job.
Yeah, I know. That is what, like, one of the things for viewers, that's what you can do differently if you are applying and you're either getting rejected or maybe you're in the job and you're finding it difficult. That's what you can do differently to help yourself. And I know I've also mentioned in one of the videos that there is expo in person specification. If you open that document, you will see, okay, this criteria, we will assess it in your application, in your personal statement. This criteria, we are going to assess it in your interview. It is there. So you know that already these 3 points are going to be assessed in interview. Why not just use it to prepare? And why won't you get it? But the thing is, people don't like watching videos to the end. Even this one now, you see that they'll not watch it to the end and they'll ask plenty questions in the comments, but we've already said it here. Meanwhile, the expo is there. And then they'll say, I want to get NHS job. We are telling you what to do. You don't want to watch it. Nobody is paying me for doing this, and I'm not paying these lovely ladies that are here for doing this. We are just here to help you guys. But people don't like watching. Well, let me not get to...
Just like Rookie said that when she failed the interview and they told her it's because of the role. A role. So the thing is, they already know that the job description is there, the person specification is there, everything you need to know about that.
It's in there.
They feel when you read through it and you make your research, it should not be difficult. Although there are other reasons why people don't go through after an interview. Maybe other reasons, because like for myself, I will ask them why, and they say, oh, somebody just, with a point, just a point, somebody just said something. So there might be different reasons. It might not just be because you didn't, say you don't know your role and all that. Yeah.
So, Boma, any advice as final word for the viewers?
So my advice is going to be, don't just give up. That is it. I think we've said everything you need to know.
Yeah.
So it's just for you to adhere to the advice you've gotten from us or from other people that must have been through the process. So if don't just give up, like I said earlier, I don't know exactly, but I felt like I did up to 100 applications, but that might not be your case.
Yeah.
That might not be your case, right? So it's just keep doing it. One will just through at some point, and then you get what you're looking for. It's not that difficult. It's not as difficult as it might seem. It's easier. When I got it, I was like, oh, is it? Haven't I gotten it? This is just it. And then when I said I sent in 100 applications, when you do your assessment, when you answer all of those questions, it's already saved for you. So the only thing you just have to click is just click one or two buttons. You've sent in an application. So it was easy peasy for me to do. I just went on like click 1, click 2, click 3. And then I've sent in like 10 applications just at once. So that was what I did. So it wasn't like I spent the whole day sending in 10 applications, not like that. So just send in as much as you can. One is going to pull through for you. And then another thing I'm going to say, just like my colleagues have said earlier, self-development. So that development, you can do courses, right? So even aside doing courses, what I did for myself was I tried to make sure I was doing something similar, because I did not do all of those and I got all those trainings. I didn't do any personal training, right? So I just decided to work in a related sector, something related. So I can get some experience. Of course, even while I was there, I still got some necessary trainings, which I did. And I included that in my assessment. Even like I said in my last interview, when they asked me a question, I quickly told them something that had happened in my previous job. So they were like, oh, she knows what she's doing. She has experience. They just want to see you have experience. Well, if you don't have experience, that's when it is necessary, like for you to start doing some training so that you can prove to them that, yes, you're the right person and you're fit for the job. I think that's all I have to say. Consistency, just keep pushing, perseverance. You're going to get it. It's just like that.
Another thing I would say is there are other getting into the NHS, just as I think it was Evelyn that said that there are other job roles as well apart from the healthcare. But once you're already, I think it was Boma also mentioned something like that once you are there, they already have that, oh, this person is there. So at least you already know the values of the NHS, because I think they work with that same value. You already know the 6 C's of the NHS. So there are other roles, there are domestic assistants and there are administrative staffs. They have other roles, and not just as regarding to the healthcare as well. There are other roles, not just the health worker as well. You can work as a ventilator. You also work as what's it called? There are other healthcare phlebotomists and all those other stuff as well. So another thing you can do is just improve yourself with other trainings. It might not be, there are some trainings that might be difficult for some people, but you can develop yourself with other trainings and just also be determined. Just as Ma said, you have to be determined, because like me, I know I was not giving up. I keep applying every day and I go for interview even outside my city, just so I can get the job. So you have to be determined. You don't have to give up, because you keep trying. That's just the thing. You keep trying. I've been to an interview in a particular ward. I went there twice. I got there the first time and I went back again. They brought me back again for an interview. And I was here before, like last month. I came here for an interview. So it's just like that. So, yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Rookie, you've been quiet for a while. Are you okay? Yeah, I know you're right. So I know you've said a lot about your journey before you got to where you are currently. So if you could look back in time, is there anything, absolutely anything you now know that you could do differently to make it easier, to make the journey easier?
Yeah, so looking back in time, what would have done differently is I would have tailored my personal statement more precisely to the person's specification, using the stronger star examples, and then I would have done more researches on the NHS values earlier and moving them into my application. And lastly, I would have prepared more thoroughly for competency-based interview questions to feel more confident, because when I first started, I was not confident enough. You see me go into the interview room and I'm tensed, I'm sweating, I'm panicking, my hands are shaking. And then there was a point they keep telling me, "Oh, are you all right? Take your time. We are not stressing you." I feel, even when I left the place, I feel ashamed of myself because I was still panicking when I left the room. So you don't have to pressure yourself. I wouldn't do that to myself anymore. I don't even do that again. But I understand people can be tensed when going for interview. So just relax your mind. Do as long as you've done what you're supposed to do. Relax your mind. They are not giants. They are humans like you. Go in there, interact. You're just having a chat with your colleagues. That's what they do. They make you feel comfortable. Don't reject whatever they offer you, a cup of tea, or water. It keeps you calm. Don't stress yourself at all, and then make sure you give the right answers to the right questions. Those are the things I would have done better, and make sure your personal statement is always on point. Proofread as much as you can. It helps a lot. You keep seeing mistakes each time you read, so just make sure you proofread and apply early, do early submission, and you're good to go.
Right. Thank you so very much. Boma, this would go to you finally. I know there are so many people that might be watching, most likely immigrants looking to get into the UK. I would just, as a final, I would love to know if this has, getting the NHS job, improved your immigration status in any way, or like improved your long-term opportunities in the UK, if you don't mind. Thank you.
So yes, the answer is yes, in short. When you work with the NHS, especially as a band 3, say from band 3, right? They are going to sponsor you, like as certificate of sponsorship. They will give you that, which can allow you to stay in the UK and work, so long as you're working for them, right? You can be in the UK, and that's in Scotland. It's for 5 years. I don't know. I think in England I think it's about 3 years. I'm not so sure, but I'm in Scotland, so I know mine is for 5 years. So if you're working for the NHS, then they will sponsor you to work for them. Yes, so it has. I mean, that's what they will offer it to you, except you don't want. If you're in band 3, they're going to, they will offer it to you. Do you want sponsorship? If you don't want, it's fine. They won't force you. But if you do, then they will definitely give it to you. And it's for 5 years, and they will pay for it. You don't even need to, you don't need to make any payment or do anything, right? They will pay for it. They will pay for it.
Yeah, especially if maybe your visa is about to expire, they always like reach out to you. I know somebody has said visa was expiring next month, and they said, "Oh, we noticed your visa is expiring. Do you care for this?" I don't know why the person never asked. Your visa is expiring, and you would not ask. So sometimes, even if they don't reach out, and you have up to 35 hours on your contract, I think you should email the recruitment team, and they will definitely get back to you on that. So
so that is where when you apply, you need to apply for the permanent role, because if you don't apply for the permanent role, you're not, you can't get the sponsorship. It's just for the permanent role. So it's 35, 37 hours. Yeah, that's where you can get the permanent role. And after that, of course, after your 5 years in the UK, you can apply for your indefinite leave to remain. So, I mean, that's just an easy way to just be in the UK if you don't plan going back. You get what I mean? So it's just, it gives you sort of an edge.
Thank you so very much, guys. I am so grateful, so grateful that you came on this meeting today, and I'm sure that a lot of my viewers and my audience would learn a thing or two from you, and plus all the videos that I've made trying to help people to get into the NHS. Thank you, guys, so very much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having.
Thank you.
Those were some insightful experiences. And as you've heard, everyone's journey is different. But one thing they all have in common is that it is possible. We've covered a lot. We'll pause here to give you time to take it all in. But don't go anywhere, because in part 2, I'll be sitting down with one more incredible guest who will be sharing his journey with us in person from a different perspective, and you don't want to miss it. And if you're on this journey yourself, let's keep the conversation going in the comment section. Tell us your experiences and ask questions. Let's support each other. I will see you in part 2 of the video. Bye for now.